and welcome back to EVE Online with me, Mark from DadX, and here we are in the Bellicose. And as you saw from the previous video, we've already cleared some sites and made ourselves some loot. And I've been and sold some. Ignore this chip, that was just in the hangar. But the Battle Cruiser skill book and the Battleship skill book got us 10 million, and we got 9.6 million selling those Triglavian survey databases. So we're well up on the ISK, so let's spend some on the ship. And I haven't sold any of the ingredients we've got to put those blueprints to good use. So we'll hoard those and make some ammo or a module as and when. So here's the fit we used in the last video, and it's actually the same fit that I fly in this video, but these are the upgrades you might want to make. First of all, we're going to look for a little bit more DPS, so we're going to get rid of the cheapest rapid light missile launchers we could find on the market, and we're going to upgrade them. Now as things stand, we've got a 32 kilometer range and we've got just over 200 DPS, but that does include the drones, remember. So let's have a little look at what the options are. We've got the Meta 4 launchers that are really silly expensive. We won't do those. Meta 3 is always a good shout. They're usually the modules with the numbers in the name. They're good value for money, bang for your buck. But if you can afford it, always put on the best stuff that you want to put on your ship. But we're going to go for these ones, so they're definitely an upgrade. And there you go, we're up to 215 DPS. So we've got about 5% DPS increase for about 1.5 million, I guess. Right, let's move on now to the mid slots. Let's see what we can do here to get more tank. Now at the moment we've got the shield extender 1s fitted. They give us 1900 extra shield hit points. But let's just compare the other modules that are available. So we're going to check the market details on this one first. See how cheap they are. Under 90 grand. The Restrained version isn't that much more expensive actually. And the compact version on the large shield extenders isn't very expensive either. Medium compact shield extenders are extortionate. Avoid them. The large shield extender 2, just over 1 million. So we can up our base shield HP for not too much ISK. But let's just compare these modules. If you've never used a compare screen before, here it is. We're going to get rid of this Gucci faction stuff that we can't afford yet. Not with this character. And we're going to compare what we want to compare, which is how many shield hit points, how much CPU they take to fit, how much power grid they take to fit. So we're going to look at these three first. We're going to put them in order of hit point gain. There you go. So you can see we get 1900 hit points from shield extender 1. And it takes 40 CPU to fit, 25 power grid. I did forget here we actually do have a signature radius modifier, which is relevant. Because they all add 25 meters to your signature radius apart from the Restrained version. Which is why I've gone for it. It only adds 15 meters to that signature radius. It does also give us 300 more hit points, and it's the same to fit. Now the compact version gives us the same amount of hit points, but it's easier to fit on the CPU and the power grid. And then we got the Tech 2 version, which gives us the biggest boost to hit points, but is the hardest to fit power grid and CPU wise. And that is basically the pattern it will take with most modules. Okay, so we're going to change both of these over to the Restrained shield extenders, large flavor. There we go. We're over 20,000 base hit points already just below. Next we're going to look at the hardener, multi-frequency shield hardener 1. So we're going to get rid of him and look at getting a bit of an upgrade. Now again we've got options. We can go Tech 2, which I'm not going to do now. We've got two versions in between. We've got compact and enduring. I'm going to go for enduring, I think, on this occasion, just to save a bit of capacity usage and also save a bit of CPU for the low slots, because I think they're going to be the priority over this particular module. So that's going to be our chosen upgrade there. We're going to leave the cap battery exactly as it is. Down here we're going to get rid of the ballistic control system 1s and we're going to go straight to Tech 2s. The compact ballistic control systems are very, very expensive. Avoid them if you can. It's not a hard train into Tech 2 ballistic controls. And they've added another 10% to our DPS. We're over 230, nearly 235 now. I can't see this screen very well that I'm recording this narration on, excuse me. But overall, 15% increase to DPS, and we haven't spent that much money. Now, rig slots, medium core defense field extenders, just to give us more base hit points. Now, these are a percentage increase to your shield hit points. In our case, we're going to get about 2200 for each one we fit. It's 15% basically, as we can see here. Now the drawback with these extenders is an increase to your signature radius, which in my case is 7%, is mitigated by my shield rigging skill. And last but not least, the damage control we're going to upgrade from a Tech 1, the Meta 1, to the Tech 2 version for increased resistances. It's worth doing. I hope none of you had already started typing your comment. It's a very cheap upgrade. It really, really is. Again, the compact version of the damage control is astronomically expensive. You can see up on the fitting screen how it's going to affect the resistances, each version. A very handy facility. But we're going to go, look at that price on the compact. No, don't do that. Go for the damage control 2. It's another easy train. It's only 400 grand and it's the one we want. And we can fit it in. We're not that short on CPU. If you were short on CPU, you can switch out your enduring multi-spectrum shield hardener for the compact version, and that will sort you out. So here we are. We've added about 7-8 mil to the price of this ship, but we have given ourselves 15% more DPS, and we've given ourselves about 35% more tank. So that's quite a good value for money upgrade. Now, go ahead and use this on every tier 1 you run. I went ahead and run a few sites for the original fit, but there's no reason not to upgrade. Don't hold back. It's not like you get more loot because you're using a cheaper ship. That would be a weird dynamic to introduce into the game. I wonder where the meta would go then. That would be quite interesting for a week. I am sticking with the Tech 1 drones though. No change there. But as I said, this fit is actually the lower DPS, lower hit point fit that I used in the first video and showed you there. Anyway, here's the filament, so let's pop it. The Calm Exotic Filament is going to reduce kinetic damage resistances and increase scan resolution, which basically means things are lockable quicker. Right, 20 minutes, we're in, no turning back. We've got the right missiles, we've got the right drones. Hornets, of course, for this site, for the kinetic damage. And we're on our way in. Right, let's see what the first room has got in store for us here. And once we're settled in, I'll speed the footage up, but we are now confronted with a couple of cruisers in the first room. Now these are both, you can tell by the names what they are. These are both kind of just the base DPS versions of these cruisers. These guys are going to want to get in close to try to apply their DPS. I think between our drones and between our missiles we will take them down and have no trouble here. Of course I've got the multi-spectrum shield hardener running. I'm burning around as much as I need to. It's just a question of getting from loot box to loot box, and in this first room I'm going for the extraction node way over here. I'm going to pop this one first. We're right on the edge of the site, you can see by that grid behind us, so we want to be a little bit careful. Always look out for that grid. And I'm going to speed the footage up to 2 times now. We're just going to go over, take out the other box, killing these 2 cruisers on the way past. In fact, I've gone to 3 times speed for those of you who keep track of such things, and as you can see I've got time. There's no pressure in this room at all. Get me screenshots done. I do like looking around these environments. They're very, very nice. But these 2 guys go down no problem. They're putting a little bit of damage onto us, but nothing we need to worry about. And of course we can take as long as we like, really, within reason, before we go through the next gate. We'll let the capacitor recharge. We'll let the shield recharge a bit. We'll make sure we've got the missiles loaded. And then we'll head straight through on into the next room. Make sure you got your drones pulled in before you do. And I've actually been using the drones to go over and take out the loot boxes so I can keep the missile DPS applied to the rats. That's something I have been doing. It seems a little bit easier. Don't want to waste those precious missiles on a loot box, do we, eh? Just get to the reload quicker. Right, we're going in. I'm going to slow this down just while I settle in here and we get a grasp of what's going on. Right, in this room we've got a single spark grip Tessera. So I'm heading for the extraction node. I'm burning. I've got the resistance module on. We'll target this guy up. We're not going to have much trouble taking him down as he comes into us. If he gets within his optimal, which is 2,000 meters, that's where he's going to try and get to orbit you, he will do a lot of DPS. His fall off is about 6,000. He's got incredible tracking. In fact, just keep an eye on my drones. He one-shots my drones. The similar ship did it in the previous video. I thought it was because the tracking enhancement tower was there. But no, just to confirm, just keep an eye on your drones when you're facing this kind of rat, especially if your drones are your primary DPS. Something I forgot to mention previously as well. The tower that will affect your drones can also take out your missiles. I didn't mention that. It's very rarely an issue. When it is an issue, it can be catastrophic. When we find it in a room, we'll address it. But for now, we won't worry about it. And you can see him there now. He's one-shotting my drones. What a bugger. You very rarely need to shoot across those towers to get to a rat. The problems start when the rat sits on the tower. Back up to 3 times speed, I think. So yeah, the drones have come over, blown up the loot box. Again, close to the edge of the room, so just watch out for that. Just keep the missiles on the rat. Don't let him get in close to you. Manual pilot just away from him if you need to, but I'm doing fine just burning across to the bio cache. In theory, it'll have the best loot in the room, but we'll see. No, nothing impressive. The loot fairy isn't smiling on me enough to reach into the abyss. Not right now, anyway. There you go. The gate is activated because we've killed the last rat. What is in the 3rd room? We've got a lot of time left on the timer. In fact, it's not even halfway. Look, it's up in the top left corner. I haven't pointed at it in this video, but we must have about 12 minutes left. I'm just lingering to let things charge up. I'm getting my 3 remaining drones in. I let that guy take down the whole flight just so you could see them get one-shotted. This isn't a drone DPS ship. We'll be fine, I'm sure. Yeah, plenty of time left on the timer. If your main DPS is your drones, obviously that situation is a little bit different. Okay, we've got a battleship, we've got a frigate-sized drone, and we've got a selection of loot boxes. Our first priority here is to get in and kill the battleship. We need to get close, we need to get in close quickly, and we mustn't fly straight at him, so manual pilot. Manual pilot. If he gets an alpha strike on you, and they can from a ridiculous range, it will hurt you a lot. I'm going to take down the little drone frigate first, just to get him off the board as we get in on the battleship. We're going to get into an orbit, and we're going to settle down, and we're just going to kill him. It will take a little bit of time, but we've got loads of time left on the clock, so there's no panic and no stress. We're going to just control the damage we're taking by getting in close and controlling his application on us, basically. Note, I'm overheating the resistance module. They overheat very slowly. I recommend you do it. It gives a 20% boost to whatever they're doing to your shields, in this case. I did overheat the missile launchers for a little while, but I backed right off. It's not worth doing it. Not in this situation. I'm pulsing the micro warp drive to keep my speed up, but keep management of my capacitor in hand. And it's just a question of keeping the balance. I'm in a nice orbit. If you need to make any adjustments to your orbit, please do it by manually piloting. He's not moving particularly quickly, so we've got no hassle staying where we want to be. And do bear in mind, as you see my shield bar going quite low there, that I haven't got any of the shield upgrades we put onto that fit at the beginning of the video. So this is just the base ship that we used with the fit I showed you last time. Do keep an eye on the heat damage that your mid-slot modules are getting from the overheated invulnerability field. Oh, I used the wrong name there, sorry, multi-frequency shield hardener. The thermodynamic skill is what you need to learn to reduce the amount of damage you're taking from overheating. So do learn that up. It can be very handy. I know to a lot of PvE players it's not something they really ever think of doing. But certainly when I'm kind of pushing the limits of the fits, especially with the alphas, overheating is a very handy thing to do. And you never PvP without overheating everything you possibly can, to be quite honest. The rat is dead. All 3 of the drones we managed to get into this room survived very nicely. The battleships are never going to do them any damage. Another loot box down. We're going to cruise around, get a couple more. As I said, the loot on individual sites may not seem like a lot, but I was very impressed with what we got for the skill book. The battlecruiser skill book, that was good. 6 million. Didn't expect that. And making the ammo is something we'll get onto later. From the comments on the last video, and thank you all very much as always for all of your comments and suggestions. Another guy said he's been running tier 1s on pretty much the same kind of basis and averaging about 8 mil, so lucky him, our day shall come. That's all I'm going to think about. So we're just about done here. The drones are doing their little job. Not wasting faction ammo on loot boxes either. Even I have limits. Don't worry about using the faction ammo. Even if you've got Tech 2 launchers, faction ammo has the longest range. It's always something you want to consider. And we're still not using, you know, hundreds and hundreds of rounds, even when we've got to take down one of those battleships. Now the modules that have taken heat damage, when you dock you can repair them in the station. If you use a player owned station you might be able to get those repairs for free. Alternatively you can just tether outside. There is a short tethering delay after you come out of the abyss, but that's not really going to affect it. Just go and get tethered outside the station and the repairs will repair your modules just as they would your armor and your hull. So there's not long left on the timer, just under 2 minutes. So that room took us pretty much 10 minutes to clear, and that was burning down that battleship. That is the problem with the battleships when you're at the lower end of the DPS spectrum, and where Tech 2 weapons can really make a difference. If you get 2 rooms with 2 of those battleships in, you can be looking at a bad day. But that's one of the things with the spawns, they are a little bit random. But anyway guys, we're done. I hope you found that interesting and enjoyable. Any comments or feedback are always very welcome. I'll leave you now. Remember, even is believing. Fly safe, take care of yourself and each other, and goodbye.